Hello and welcome all of you. So let's begin with our next session. As last time you have started with the unit number 6, and our unit number 6 name is the code optimization, and related topics, that is nothing but our fifth phase of compiler, which comes in the synthesis phase and in the back end of the compiler. Now, last time we have discussed about what exactly is the code optimization, what is the need of the code optimization, and what are the different techniques using which the code optimization can be done. And so these are all the things, as well as the advantage of doing the code optimization. These things already we have discussed in the previous lecture. And also we have discussed on which code we do the optimization. So generally, the code optimization phase receive the input from its previous phase, that is the intermediate code. And so the code optimizer take that intermediate code and try to modify that code, try to rearrange that code, try to remove some unwanted code from that, try to remove the redundant code. So all these techniques, all these things being done by the compiler with the help of different techniques, and the code get optimized. Okay. So in the today's part, we are going to discuss the things about the what exactly is the basic block and what is the flow graph. Okay, these two are the important techniques here. So that today we will discuss, and why we require it, that in the upcoming lectures you will understand that. So today we'll just focus on what exactly is the basic block and what is the flow graph. Okay, in the compiler design. Okay. So first we'll discuss about what is exactly is the basic block is, and then we'll discuss the flow graph with example. These things we'll discuss. Now you can see the, I think last time also in one lecture I told you what exactly is the basic block. So if you take the general meaning of block, block is nothing but certain sequence of code or certain sequence of statement. So same is the thing here. Here you can read the basic block is the sequence of consecutive statement. Now this word consecutive is very important here. What basic block is a sequence of consecutive statements. Consecutive statements means the continuous state, one after the another statements are there. That statements are referred as a consecutive statement. Continuous statements are there. Okay. So basic block is a sequence of consecutive statement which are always executed in the sequence without any halt or without any branching. So that particular sequence of consecutive statements is called as what, is called as a basic block. So once again you read the definition carefully, and then we apply the definition to the example so that you get the clear idea. So basic block is what? Sequence of consecutive statement which are always get executed in the, sequence without any halting or without any jumping or without any branching. Understood? That particular sequence of consecutive statements is called as what? The particular basic block. Understood? So in another words, I have mentioned when the first instruction is executed, all the instruction in the same basic block will be executed in their sequence of appearance without losing the flow of control of the program. Means, suppose let's take the example here. This is the statement written: a is equal to b plus c plus d. Now, if you write the 3 address code for this as an intermediate code, then we'll get the 3 address code as like this as an intermediate code. And you know the now suppose, now can you call this particular sequence of statements as a basic block? Okay. Yes, we can call this sequence of consecutive statement as a basic block, because if you read this second description, when the first instruction is executed, means when this instruction will be executed, then after that this instruction will get executed. After second, the third instruction will be get executed. Means starting from this first, then second will execute, and then the third. So when the same thing I have mentioned, when the first instruction is executed, all the instruction in same basic block will execute it in their sequence of appearance without losing the flow of control of the program. So basic block is sequence of consecutive statement which are always executed in the sequence. So these particular three statements are considered as a sequence of consecutive statements. Why they are being called as a sequence of consecutive statement and why they will be get executed in the sequence? Because if you see, after this statement, there is a next statement is that this only. Because it's now suppose after the first statement, if there is a particular another statement like go to go to 3, suppose this is a first, then this is a second, okay, and this is a third instruction, okay. Now consider, if you consider this as a 2, then this will be your 3, this will be your 4, and consider there is a one more instruction will be is there, just for understanding purpose, okay. Now even if you consider there is a one more instruction like x is equal to y, just consider, I'm just telling you, okay. And if you consider this as a first, then there is a one more statement there like go to statement number 4, okay. So this is your second, this is your third, this is your fourth, this is your fifth, for example. Now after the first statement, second statement is go to instruction number 4. So where is your instruction number 4 here? Means after this, the control is shifting to the instruction number 4. You are getting my point. So after the first statement, second statement getting executed, but after the second, this third statement is not getting executed. You are jumping from the second to the fourth directly. Now, if such kind of jumping is there, then we cannot say this there is a sequence of consecutive statements are there, because at the second statement there is a jumping. There is a jumping from second statement to directly the first statement. So if there is a jumping, then the sequence of consecutive statement is getting halt here. Understood? And that is the reason we cannot call, if there is a such kind of situation, then we cannot call this as a sequence of consecutive statement. And if there is a jumping in between this statement, then we cannot call this as a basic block. Understood? So when we call it as a basic block, when there is a continuous statements are there, continuous sequence of consecutive statements are there, then that particular set of consecutive instruction or statement is called as what? The basic block. So same thing also I have written here, t1 equal to b plus c, t2 equal to t1 plus d, and a equal to t2. So these are the continuous statement. There is a no jumping in between this statement, because after the 1 second will be going to execute, say after a second, third will be going to execute. If there is a no branching, if there is a no jumping in between this instruction or set of statement, then that certain sequence of consecutive statement is referred as what? The basic block. Understood? So same thing I have mentioned here. Basic block is a sequence of consecutive statement which are always get executed in the which are always get executed in sequence without any jumping or without any halt or possibility of branching. The same thing I have mentioned here. When the first instruction is executed, means if this is the instruction get executed, then all the instruction in the same basic block will be executed in their sequence. So after this all the remaining statement will be get executed, okay, in sequence of appearance without losing the flow of control of the program. So what do you mean by the without losing the flow of control of the program? Means without changing the particular sequence of execution. Means after the this instruction, next this is going to be executed, but after this, if the control gets shifted to this, if the control will get shifted to this, then there is a lose, there is a what we can say, then flow of control of the program is getting changed. Understood? So here in basic block there is a no losing the flow of control of the program. Flow of the control of program is get maintained as instruction get executed one after the other without any halt or without any jumping in between them. Okay, so same thing I have mentioned here. All the instruction in the same basic block will be executed in their sequence of appearance. I mean, just they are looking, you are looking at that. Just the way you are looking at this statement here, after T1 there is a T2, after T2 there is a equal to T2. So the way you are looking at this instruction, so the same thing I have mentioned, the instruction in the same basic block will be executed in their sequence of appearance. Means they, the way you are the way you are appear, the way these instructions are appearing here one after another, they are going to execute in the same order. They are going to execute in the same order without losing the flow of control of the program, without changing the control from this first instruction to the third instruction. These things will not be happen in the basic block. The instruction will get executed in the sequence of appearance without losing the flow of control of the program. If such situation is there, then then that particular sequence of consecutive statements are called as what, the basic block. Okay, so I hope the concept is clear. So these are the some of the characteristic of basic blocks are here. Now what are the characteristic? The basic block should not contain any kind of jump statement in between them. Suppose if there is a go to statement is there after the statement 1, go to, then go to the instruction number 4, then this is kind of jump from second to the 4 directly. So if this kind of things is there in your if this kind of statements are there, then we cannot call that particular sequence of consecutive statement as a basic block. So there should not be any jump, there should not be any kind of jump statement, okay, in the basic block. There is a no possibility of branching or getting the halt in middle. Means instruction will get executed in particular this order only, the way we are looking at them, the way they are appearing. There should not be any halting that or it will halt at this point and from this it will get jump to this point. So this kind of thing should not be there in the basic block. Okay, all the statements execute in the same order they appear. Means the way these instructions are appearing after the one instruction, second, third, the instruction will get executed in the same order. Okay, and then there should not be any losing the flow of control of the program. There should not be losing any flow of control of the program. Means the control should not get shift from this one instruction to directly to the third, or if there are the more instruction, then jump, there should not be a flow of control directly from second to the seventh instruction or sixth instruction like this. The instruction must be get executed in the particular consecutive order. Okay, so then that particular sequence of consecutive statement you can call them as a basic block, and they are then only they are they are only eligible to form the basic block. Okay, so this is all about the basic block. And the same thing I have mentioned here. Suppose for example, if you take the expression a equal to b plus d, a equal to b plus c plus d, and for this if you evaluate the three address code as intermediate code, then you can see all the statements execute in the sequence one after other. These all the statements are getting executed one after other. Same, you can write this is also correct, three address code, this is also correct. Only here capital T is utilized, here small t. It doesn't matter. Okay. So all the statements execute in the sequence one after other. After this there is this, after this there is this. Okay. So that is the reason this particular sequence of consecutive statements, this particular sequence of consecutive statements are eligible to form the basic block. There is a no jump instruction in between them. There is a no halting. Understood? And that is the reason all the statements can execute in the sequence one after other. And that is the reason they are capable to form the basic block. Okay. Now next we have the now let's take the another example and let's check whether that particular sequence of statement can we call it as a basic block or not. Okay, now if you see this as a, this is the example we have given. Okay, if a is less than b, then 1 else 0. Such kind of example can be asked in the exam, and for that you have to generate the intermediate code as a three address code. Okay, now if this is the expression given, if a is less than b, then 1 else 0. Okay, now we have to see whether that particular how to generate the, first you have to generate the intermediate code. For that first you need to generate the three address code for this given expression. Now what is the expression? If a is less than b, then 1 else 0. So we just write first intermediate code instruction here. If a is less than b, then 1 else 0. If A is less than B is false, then go to where? Then go to 0. Then what? 0. If A is less than B, then 1, else 0. But if A is less than B is false, then it then 0. Okay. So that is the reason here we write the, so from this you have to, now if this condition will become false, then what? And if this condition become true, then what? If this condition become true, then what? Then 1. So for that we have written the intermediate code instruction like this by utilizing the temporary variable t1. Okay. If A is less than B, then 1. So here while you are writing the intermediate code, you have to write like this. If A is less than B, go to 4. 4 number instruction means this instruction here you have written t1 equal to 1. That is the then equal to 1. But if this is false, then what? 0, else 0. So here you write here t1 equal to 0. Okay. If false, you write t1 equal to 0. Okay. And third instruction also you have written go to 5, means this, actually that is not needed also, but it is okay. If A is less than B, go to 4, means if it is true then go to 4, means else equal to then equal to 1, else 0. If it is false, then t1 equal to 0. Understood? So if now this is the intermediate code, you can see. Now can this particular sequence of statements, can we call this particular sequence of statement as a basic block? No, we cannot call this as a basic block because the statement do not execute in the sequence one after the another. What? This particular sequence of statement are not going to execute one after the other, because if A is less than B, if this is true, then the control will directly shift from first instruction to the fourth instruction. Understood? So what is the basic block saying? After this instruction must be get executed. Understood? After this must be get executed. After this must be get executed. But here if A is less than B, if it is true, then control is directly jumping into the instruction number 4. Understood? So there is a no execution will not happen in the sequence one after the another. That is the reason this sequence of statement we cannot call it as a basic block. So if A is less than B is false, then control will go to the second, but from the second then it will go to the third, but from the third it will not go to the fourth, from the third it will directly go to the fifth, means it will come out of the loop. If A is less than B is if A is less than B is false, then this will get execute. After this third will get execute. Okay. But from the third now, and then you can see here in the third, control is directly shifting to the fifth, not to the fourth. When A is less than B is 0. Understood? When A is then B is 0. Okay. A is less than B, when the A less than B condition will become false, then directly then also the execution will not happen in the sequence one after the another. So as you can see here, the execution is not happening in the sequence. As you can see, if A is less than B, if it is true, then 1, means if this is true, directly control will go to the fourth instruction. But if it is false, then second, then third, but again from third directly to the fifth. So in the both the cases, there is a execution is not happening in the sequence one after the other. So that is the reason we cannot call this particular sequence of statement as a basic block. Understood? So now so let's see the next part. Now there is a certain algorithm using which we can determine how many basic blocks are there in the particular intermediate code. Understood? And that algorithm is called as a partitioning algorithm. Okay, that algorithm is called as a partitioning algorithm. So this is the algorithm using which we can partition the given intermediate code. We can partition the given intermediate code into the basic blocks. Okay. Now there are the certain rules there are there in this algorithm. We just see that, and then we apply that rules to the example, and we try to determine the basic block, or we try to partition the given intermediate code into the basic block. So rule first is what? Rule first is regarding the determining the leader statement. What rule first is what? Determining the leader statement. So we just keep in mind these rules and we apply this to the example. So which statements we can call the leader statements? So following are the statements that will be part of your intermediate code. That statement you can call the leader statement, which the first statement always called as a leader statement. Which statement? First statement of your intermediate code, that will always called as intermediate, that will always called as a leader statement. Then statement that is a target of the conditional or unconditional go to statement. Which statement? The statement which is target of conditional or unconditional go to statement, that statement is again also called as a leader statement. And third, statement that appear immediately after the go to statement. The statement which appear immediately after the go to statement, that statement can also be called as a leader statement. Okay, means to determine the leader statement, there are these three things you need to keep in mind. First statement of that intermediate code always called a leader statement. Then target of the conditional and unconditional go to is called as a leader statement. And the statement which immediately appear after the go to statement, that is also called as a leader statement. So there are the two main rules we need to apply in order to partition the given intermediate code into the basic block. So this is the first rule. First rule is regarding what? Determining the leader statement. And second rule is determining the basic block. Okay, now then which particular sequence of consecutive statement, which particular sequence of statement we can call as a basic block. So for that also three simple rules are there. All the statement that follow the leader, including the leader, till the next leader appear, forms the one basic block. So which particular sequence of statement you can call the basic block? All the statement that follow the leader statement, including the leader statement, till the next leader appears, forms one particular basic block. Means all the statements that follow the leader statement, including the leader statement, till the next leader statement, that will form the one basic block. In simple, the statement from one leader statement to the next leader statement, then this particular whole sequence is called as what? The basic block. This whole sequence is called as a basic block. That is the same thing I have mentioned here. All the statements that follow the leader statement, including the leader, till the next leader appears, forms the one basic block. Now this will apply this rule in the example, then you'll understand. The first statement of the code is called as a first leader. Okay, first statement of the intermediate code is called as a first leader. The block containing the first leader is called as a initial block. Okay, the block which is containing the first leader, that block is considered as a initial block. Okay, so these rules we have to apply to the example, and then we can partition the given intermediate code into the basic block. Okay, so let's take the example and try to apply the partitioning algorithm and try to determining the basic block. Okay, now here the example is given. Compute the basic blocks for the given three address statements. Compute the basic blocks for the given three address statements. Now consider the following source code for the dot product of the two vectors A and B, and which is having the length of the 10. Now this is the source code statement is given. Okay, these are the source code statements are given of particular higher level language. Now, if only the source code statement is given, then first you need to generate the three address code for that as an intermediate code. Okay, sometimes you will directly get the three address code and then you have to apply the partitioning algorithm to this three address code and you have to generate the basic blocks. Okay, now here what is given? We have given these source code statements, and this source code statement is related with the product of two vectors of A and B of length 10. Now for this given source code, we have to generate the three address code. And for this source code, three address code will be generated like this: product equal to 0, I equal to 1, then T1 equal to 4 into I, T2 equal to A of T1, T3 equal to 4 into I, T4 equal to B of T3, T5 equal to T2 into T4, T6 equal to product plus T5, product equal to T6, T7 equal to I plus 1, I equal to T7. And for this last statement, if I is less than 10, go to 3. What if I is less than 10, go to 3. Understood? So this is the 3 address code for this particular source code statements. Okay. Now in this sequence of 3 address code, you can see first thing we need to apply. Now we need to apply the partitioning algorithm here and the two rules of the partitioning algorithm. Now what is the first rule is there and what that first rule is saying? First rule is what? Determining the leader statement. Now, which are the leader statement in this sequence of statements? Now, what are the rules for the leader statement? Each first statement of particular intermediate code is called as a leader statement. Okay, means which is the leader statement then? This is the leader statement. So, statement number 01 is the leader statement. This is the leader statement 1. Then second rule is what? Target of conditional and unconditional go to is also the leader statement. Now, whether is there any go to statement is there? Yes. Go to. Go to where? Go to 3. Go to 3 means this instruction number 3 or statement number 3 is also the another leader statement. So statement number 3 is also another leader statement. And third rule is what? The instruction which is appear immediately after the go to. Now after the go to there is a no instruction here. After the go to there is no instruction. One means we have only the two leader statement here. How many leader statements are there? Only two leader statement. This is and this is. So we have applied the first rule, and using that first rule, we have determined the leader statement. Okay. Now second rule is what? Determining the basic block. Now what is the rule for the basic block? Rule for the basic block is what? The statement. Now we can see, just read the rule for the basic block once again. All the statement that follow the leader, including the leader till the next leader, forms the basic block. This is the only rule, only one rule you can keep in mind. All the statement that follow the next leader, follow the leader, including the leader till the next leader appears from the basic blocks. Okay. Now, which are the leader in our set of instruction? There are the two leader statement 1 and 3. So all the statement that follow the leader statement. So this is the leader statement. Including this leader statement, all the statement which follow these leader statements are, which are the statement following this leader statement? The statements which are following this leader statement is this one, second. Understood? Okay. Now the all the statement which follow the this leader statement consist of this one, which is following this leader statement till the next leader statement appears. Now this is also the one leader statement. Now your basic block will start from this instruction and will end at the instruction number second, because your basic block will end where? It will end when the next leader statement will appear. So your basic block will end here. So this will be your basic block 1. Okay. And now your second basic block will be start from where? From the instruction number 3, from the statement number 3, because this is the leader statement. And all the statement following this leader statement, including this leader statement itself, all the statements are which? This. So this all the statements comes under the basic block. So this sequence of statement will form our basic block 2. Understood? So how many basic blocks are there? 2. This is one and this is second. Understood? So by using that rule, you can easily determine which are the leader statement and which are the how many are basic blocks are there. So for this intermediate code, there are the two leader statement, this one and there are the two basic block, this one and this one. Basic block B1 contains the statement 1 to 2. Okay. Basic block B2 contain the statement 3 to 12. And starting from this 3 to 12. Why your basic block 1 ended at the this point? Because after the second statement, the next leader statement is starting. Okay. And after the leader statement third, after this leader statement, there is a no leader statement further. So that is the reason this whole statement will come under the basic block 2. Okay, I hope you have understood how to determine the leader statement and how to determine the basic block. Okay. Now let's see the next statement. Next statement here. Now next statement here is next point here that we are going to discuss is the flow graph. Okay. Now what is the flow graph? Now you just read here, flow graph is a directed graph. Means in that graph we are making the utilization of arrows, okay, to show the some kind of direction. So flow, that is the reason flow graph is called as what, the directed graph. It contains the flow of control information for the set of basic blocks. So flow graph is utilized for what purpose? To show the how the control is moving from one particular basic block to the another control, how the information is flowing from one particular basic block to the another basic block, to show that we are making the utilization of flow graph. Okay, it contains the flow of control information for the set of basic block. Okay, a control flow graph is used to depict or is used to show that how the program control is being passed among the blocks. It means how the program control being moving, or how the program control is passing from one basic block to the another basic block. Okay, in order to show that things, there is a utilization of flow graph structure. Okay, so this flow graph is the most useful in the loop optimization. That is the next point we are going to see. Okay, so this is the flow graph example. Now this is the flow graph example for our flow graph for the vector dot product. Now the previous example that we have seen, which consists of the two basic blocks B1 and the B2. Now for that two basic blocks, how we can draw the flow graph for that? For the generated two basic blocks, how we can have the flow graph? So flow graph will be like this. Okay, so from the basic block B1 to the basic block B2, the arrow is shown because block B1 is the initial block. Block B1 is the initial block or the initial node, and block B2 which appear immediately after the B1. Okay, the block B2 is immediately appearing after the B1. That is the reason from B1 to B2 the arrow is shown like this. Why the arrow is shown from B1 to B2? Because after the B1 the B2 block is immediately appearing. Okay, so that is the reason the edge is shown from the B1 to B2. Okay, then the target of jump from last statement of B2 is the first statement of B2. So from here you are going to jump where? Go to B2. Okay, from the here the target of jump from the last statement of B2 is what? First statement of B2. That is the go to instruction number 3 was there. So that is the reason. So from B2 to B2 there is a edge is shown like this. So if such kind of edge is being shown, it means the loop is getting detected here. Okay, so you are showing the edge from edge to the same basic block again here. If you are showing the edge to the same basic block again here, it means loop is getting detected there. That is the reason it is utilizing the loop optimization. Okay, so that is the reason arrow is shown from this to this. Okay, B2 is the successor of B1 and B1 is the predecessor of the B2. Okay, B2 is the successor of B1. That is the reason edge is shown from B1 to the B2. As control is shifting again to the B2 itself, that is the reason this arrow is shown like this to the B2 itself. Okay, so how the control is how the uh, control is moving, how the program control is passing from one basic block to the another, how from B1 it is going to the B2, and again from B2 again it is going to the B2 itself. So that particular flow of control can be easily shown using the one particular data structure that is called as a flow graph. Understood? And control is shown with the help of the arrow. That is the reason it is called as a directed graph. And same thing I have mentioned, it contains the flow of control information of the set of basic block. How the information is flowing from one basic block to the another basic block, again from this B2 to the B2 itself. So these all the things can be easily shown using this data structure that is called as a flow graph, as a directed graph. Okay, so this concept we are going to need in the further section. Okay, that is the reason I have covered this here. And you can go through this lecture once again. And if you have any doubt, you can ask me in the comment section. Okay. So thank you all of you.